Zinke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Secretary, Acting Secretary. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And first, I want to thank you. Your staff in Montana has been very helpful in us navigating through multiple community projects and stuff. So your staff in Montana, I can say, has been very good.
Good.
And thank you. There is an issue, though, that you don't learn much from the headquarters. You learn a lot when you go to the front line. And so Montana Housing Authority has an issue that was brought to my attention. And it's an important enough issue they came all the way to Washington, D.C. to talk to me about it. They shared with me the problem they're having, in fact, that the Montana Housing Authority has had $4.5 million swept from their reserve account. With that money taken and more planned this year, it makes the problem become to the surface, and it's a big problem. In fact, it's such a problem, the result of $4.5 million resulted in 576 Montana families that were unable to access housing assistance. And then a couple weeks ago, this same issue was brought forward to you during the Senate Banking Committee hearing. You were asked to reach out to local housing authorities in Montana to try to navigate through this. To date, nothing has been heard from your office. And I just want your commitment that you'll reach out to the Montana Housing Authority and to get their input how do we remedy this. Because sweeping that account, I'm sure everyone does it a little differently, but the reserve account in Montana, when it's swept, they can't go forward with existing contracts, so it's a problem. So if I have your commitment to work on that.
Absolutely. The sweeping of the reserves only recently came to my attention, so I'll learn more about that. And I will say it was my impression that members of the HUD team had reached out to the Montana Housing Agency to talk about their fair market rent methodology. So I will double back with them, but it's my impression that that connection happened, but I will confirm.
And I just had my assurance I will work together with you to remedy it, but it needs to be
Absolutely.
remedied. And then just on philosophy, we talk about, renting vouchers, and you look at, affordable housing, and why is it so unaffordable? And in Montana, some of it, too, is that people from California are coming, and maybe California, housing prices were more. So there is some of that. But a lot of it has to do with high inflation. And high inflation and also energy costs. So when energy costs are high, material costs are high, building material costs, that dumps into labor costs, and inflation. When we have high inflation, then you have high interest rates, and we're all suffering from that. So that house that was affordable before might not be under the current interest rates. I'm particularly concerned about home ownership. And I understand helping people through a rough spot in housing, but ultimately, it's always been about home ownership. And the American dream, a lot of it is built on home ownership. And when you live a life of renting and there's no opportunity to buy home ownership, then a lot of it dissolves for many the American dream. And a lot of frustration on the younger people that look up and how do I afford a $1.2 million house in Bozeman, Montana. So some of it is you talk about innovation. And I would offer this, I think we should look at a government-backed 50-year mortgage. Because as while you pay a lot of interest rates, I think lowering monthly costs, lowering monthly costs so people can afford something. And then I think we should look at expanding definitions of title. Because it's very difficult to get a loan sometimes on a condo. But you know what? You own the title. And maybe we should expand our definition on innovation of what title looks like so a person can buy maybe a piece of an apartment or expand it so at least you own and gain equity on the title. Might not be the first title you own. Hopefully it's not. Maybe you can expand up. But the entry level for a lot of families on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage is too far. So I applaud your efforts in that. I just caution that spending, I think the source of the problem is getting after inflation, lower that. Source of it is getting after lower energy costs, crush the interest rates down, and look at opportunities, how to expand the opportunity for everyone to buy a home eventually. So thank you for your thing, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.